discussion with creators David Baron and Elisa Wikey. I am Moni Barrett, comics librarian and co-founders of Creators Assemble. Wow, I even got our own name right, just batting 1,000 today. But it's good to see you both. Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you doing?
Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, super excited to talk to you. I love Cobblestone Chronicles, what I've read of it so far. But I do want you both, no particular order, to give your bios as it relates to your comics background and anything else you want the audience to know.
Go ahead, Elisa.
Hi, I'm Elisa. This is actually my first foray into creating comic books, which is funny considering that I have a degree in children's book illustration. So I'm no stranger to sequential art, but I spend most of my time these days as a graphic artist and a gallery artist for a variety of my own personal projects and licensed projects.
Very awesome. Any in particular that you wanted to shout out to, or?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing work for Schitt's Creek. I'm doing work for the new Dune movie that's coming out. I'm all over the place. Lots of anime.
Just a lot awesome and busy. That's cool. Very nice. And David, what about you?
So my name is David Baron. I've been in comic books for well over 25 years. I work on Batman and a lot of DC Comics projects. I started when I was 15 years old with Image Comics and kind of transitioned through life. I've art directed the World of Warcraft, the Big Bang Theory party game, a lot of different things. I've wrote the sci-fi action adventures series, Stained, and now I'm writing the Cobblestone Chronicles, Michael versus the Babysitters. Yeah, so it's kind of been all over the place.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I love Stained, by the way, but we've had that discussion. But can you give us an elevator pitch, either or both of you, for why people should want to read Cobblestone Chronicles?
Elisa, you're up.
All right, I'm just going to take the lead. Cobblestone Chronicles is a really exciting adventure. Kids of all ages, adults of all ages will enjoy it. There's something for everybody, but it is sort of like the kind of action adventure you wished you could go on when you were a kid.
Perfect, absolutely perfect. Yes, and this is why I chose to partner with Elisa, all those months ago. Because not only is the project a passion of mine, it instantly became a passion of hers. And I think on every single page, there's a laugh per page, whether it's in the script or in her art. And it's that type of partnership that really brought the life of Cobblestone to everybody who reads the book.
It really shows both of your passions. The book is really entertaining. And like you mentioned, something for everyone. Our whole team has at least gotten partially through, and they really have been enjoying it. And so I did want to ask then, David, I mean, you mentioned your past projects and your 25 years in comics. You've worked on some decidedly like adult and a little darker, a little less humorous in the past. What made you want to do such a great kids story?
So one, I have a child of my own. I have a 12-year-old son who's my world. Anyone who knows me, knows he's always around me. I'm always around him. If I'm at a convention that he can't come to for whatever reason, I'm always checking in on him. We're always sharing videos together. Whenever we go out, me and my wife, we're always very protective of who we have watch him. Mm-hmm. And it's always one of his babysitters have always been one of my wife's students. She's a teacher, and they've always had like a great relationship. And during the pandemic, we were sitting around the table, and my son, talked about how, the one thing I really miss, the one thing I'm struggling with is that mom and dad, you're always home, it's not that he doesn't like us home, because we had a great family dynamic. We're one of the lucky ones that had, plenty of room, outside our front house to play, soccer together and video games together and all the different things that, my son and I enjoy. But he just enjoyed having that different dynamic with his babysitters. And my wife joked, she said, Michael, you don't like your babysitters. You like to attack your babysitters. You go to war with them. It's always you versus the babysitters. And I thought in my head a couple different things, and the original title initially came to my head, I said, I literally stopped dinner right there, and I said, hold on, I got to call Elisa, because ever since I met Elisa, I wanted to work with her. I loved her art from day one. She was drawing Ron Swanson's called Ron a Day. I recommend everyone go look it up. Ron Swanson, the famed character from Parks and Rec, the TV show. And it spoke to me instantly. And her art's so beautiful and wonderful that I just wanted, after years of us being friends and after Stained came out, we were at, I think, Phoenix Comic Con at the time. And I said, hey, would you ever want to work together? If I wrote something, would you, want to? She said, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I said, okay, it's not going to be right away. I'm not just going to go home and write something. I'm going to wait for the perfect project. But as soon as I had this thought in my head, I said, I got to call her. This is the perfect project. And it was. She's absolutely nailed it. It's her first, graphic novel that she's done. Yet it seems like it's her 50th graphic novel. I mean, she's hit every single aspect that you could ask for as a writer and more. And so ultimately, why did I do this? I did this because my son inspired me to do it. I don't think of myself ever as a certain genre of a creator because I have many times in the past done children's style for Batman or other superheroes, where we took our artistic talents and we put it for toys or cartoons and things like that. But yeah, you're right. Most of my comic books are a bit more edgy. I think that's just because I like to work on different levels. And I think you agree that there's a lot of jokes in there that are children appropriate, yet are only adults are really going to get them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Elisa, David might have touched on some of these things for you, but what drew you to this? See what I did there? To this project. What made you want to work on this project in particular?
Well, really, David's enthusiasm for the project was infectious from that very first phone call, where the first thing he said is, Elisa, I'm in the middle of dinner, but we have the idea. And I'm like, all right, well, if you're stopping dinner, I'll stop what I'm doing to listen to this pitch. And I'm like, yeah, no, this sounds like a really fun time. And I mean, to David's credit, he's been in the business for so long that I felt like it would be really silly of me to pass on working with him in any capacity, because he's been such a great guidance for me, being that it's, my first really foray into the shallow end of the pool of comic book making. So we've been friends for a long time. We met at Phoenix Comic Con and are just like, our personalities hit it off from the start. I mean, anybody that loves Ron Swanson was a friend of mine at that point. So, but yeah, he laid out this idea, and I'm like, I can already see it in my mind's eye. I'm just starting to put together just fun visual gags based off of his writing, and it just from the very start was a really great back and forth.
And that actually leads to the next question: is how collaborative, see, you set me right up. Thank you. Collaborative was the process versus one person stays in their lane and the other stays in theirs. How much did you guys actually go back and forth on different ideas?
This is a unique project because I'm the writer, she's the artist, but I also lettered the book. I also colored the book. We did the design. So there's definitely a lot of mingling. And the truth is, every good writer that I know of always leaves room for the artist to bring their personality to the project. And that's on any book. That's from my Batman times with Jock and Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder, one of the greatest comic book writers out there, will still say, hey, this is what I want, but if you come up with something different, I'll understand. And that's same with Jeff Lemire and Doug Mahnke and Peter Tomasi. I mean, we're talking about every great comic book writer. And I told that to Elisa. I said, if there's something that you have better, do it, and we can always talk. And I had her read the script. One of the things I do as a writer, before I ever let an artist start, I actually have a full script, and that goes with Stained, even my Stained Volume 2 that's coming out soon. My artist Carl, he has all 5 issues already, scripted and written fully, dialogued and everything, so he can see where it's going. Wow. Same with Elisa. I wanted her to know exactly every funny aspect of this book, so she can not repeat something that we have the joke before, but come up with something completely new if she wanted to change something.
Before I ever started drawing, we did a full script read through, which was the perfect first place for when I'm reading the words to be like, oh, I can see a visual gag here already. What do you think about that? So there was definitely a lot of back and forth. And then that way David was able to say, like, this is really important to me to like hit this mark here. But here you're free to, kind of ad lib visually a little bit.
And there's even parts in the script that says, this is the gag that I'm doing. Here is 13 suggestions, pick 6 of them. Or pick 4 of them and 2 of your own, or, just pick this one and this one because that means something to me, and pick 4 new ones that mean something to you. I learned that script reading part, I learned from movies. In video games, you want to go over it with the talent that's going to be acting it out. And a writer artist relationship is much like a director writer and actors relationship. And so when we did that script read, not only was I re-inspired, I was able to convey that excitement that I had in the script and hear the excitement that she had. Because when she laughs out loud, I know she's ready to draw that page. And that just helps me know that she's excited for the project, and that I actually hit it on a level that I was going for. And anytime, like we had to edit in part of our process, we had to edit where someone said, you need to take that line out. Like in a children's book, that line probably goes to a certain part that most publishers aren't willing to do. Oh. And so I wrote a couple quick lines to replace that line, and none of them hit. And I showed them to my son, and who was an excellent editor on the book. I think Elisa will agree. He does not hold back. He'll tell you straight up, and he too much Gordon Ramsay, Master Chef, type of shows he watches. But he didn't laugh. And so I rewrote it again, and he didn't laugh. And then I wrote the one that we went with, because he finally laughed. He read it, goes, oh yeah, that's good. That's hilarious, And, so those things mattered a lot. Every single person that we've sent the review books to, we wanted to make sure that at one moment, at least, we had an audible laugh out loud. We needed to hear them laugh, not just smile. Everyone smiled instantly. One of the people I showed to you, I think he laughed, this big, strong Hollywood guy, Ford and Ferrari, Mayans, he works on all these serious things. Mm-hmm. He laughed at either the script or Elisa's art every single page out loud. And I was just, it was comical to watch him read my book. So much so that I would like to record him just to, have him.
You need to do like a screening of people reading the book.
Yeah, it's funny to see. So, but yeah, no, our relationship is definitely intertwined in this book. Same with issue 2. We need to be on the same page to really give our audience what we're trying to give them. And it's been a back and forth nonstop of just positive ideas, funny ideas, creative ideas, and a very positive working environment where I'm willing to change the script on the fly to work with her art more than change her art to work with my script. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the beautiful parts of this whole process of how we created the Cobblestone Chronicles.
I love process conversations because it is so outside of the wheelhouse of anything that I've tried to do that it's just fascinating to hear like how much work, but also how much fun and collaboration can happen there. So in addition to today, helping get the word out about this Kickstarter and about both of you and about this book, Creators Assemble also likes to help get books into libraries and classrooms, comic books into libraries and classrooms. And we also like to help support creative folks who are trying to make a living in the pop culture and entertainment space. And that's something that both of you are doing that I think would be an inspiration if you'd like to kind of give tips, advice, something you wish you'd knew or you'd known, resources, just really anything that you can impart upon the audience that we have here.
I think if you're working in any sort of pop culture inspired medium, no matter if it's actually doing videos or drawing things or writing things, I think the most important thing to remember is that there's nothing that is good or bad, right or wrong. It's really just what everybody's personal preference is. Even people working in like what are viewed as the most professional and hard to reach areas of the like pop culture industry, we're all just people making what we want to make. So if you think that, so and so wouldn't like this idea, well, do you like this idea? Because that's the kind of like interest that you're going to need to really have any project that you make come to life.
Yeah, for me, my biggest advice is we all grow as artists. Don't sell yourself short. Don't stop just because the criticism is loud. Don't shy away from the criticism. Criticism helps you grow when it has some type of helpful elements to it. Ever since I started in the comic book industry, showing my portfolios, starting at I think age 13 or 12. I think it was 13 when I showed my first portfolio. People were not nice to me just because I was 13. And looking back at the artwork, I'm glad they weren't nice because that challenged me to keep growing. Looking at my portfolio and the work I did at age 15, I would not hire that person today just because the work that's coming out. But that also shows that you keep growing and you keep the more work you put in, the more practice you put in, more effort you put in, you will get better. As long as you don't close yourself off from the opportunity to get better. Learn from everybody. I learn from brand new artists all the time that have 0 credits. I still learn through looking at other people's art. I still learn how to draw from other people's artwork, where I get inspired and I like something that I see on the internet or at a con, and I try to recreate that in my own way, which I've been doing, since I was a kid. And then your own ideas, come out of that. That's how you get inspired. And that's, your influences. If you don't try to emulate others, you're not really influenced by them. And the Cobblestone Chronicles and Stained and all my other projects, whether it's coloring, lettering, writing, are all influenced by others. And sometimes you can really see that influence, especially in my artwork. You can really see it come out from other people because I'm newer at the art world in terms of actual drawing my own covers, where other parts I'm more experienced, so you don't see it as much, but they're still there. So don't be afraid of influences. Don't be afraid of criticism. Embrace it all and give yourself time to develop.
That's excellent. So final question really is the where, what, when, why, how. How do people get Cobblestone? What's going to happen with the Kickstarter? What can we expect? And kind of the timeline. And then if you guys want to give quick plugs for anything else that you can talk about that you'd like to, and or your social media or websites where we can find you, go ahead and take that time to do that.
So the biggest thing to know is our Kickstarter starts on the 27th, which is Monday. So September 27th, it runs for like 32, 34 days total. And it's very important that if you really do enjoy this project and you really enjoy Elisa's work and my work, to try to back us within the first 48 hours. The earlier the support, the better it is for the project as a whole. The book is completely done. It's being printed and will be delivered on time. There is zero drawbacks to funding this project for us or backing this project. And if you back this project, you get a lot of awesome extras. There's a lot of freebies, a lot of bonuses to make these tier levels really, I wouldn't say exotic because I think a lot of people do it, but exciting. They're very exciting with a lot of extra things that you'll only get during this Kickstarter project. So you just search the Cobblestone Chronicles, Michael versus the Babysitters, and or David Baron or Elisa Wikey, and you will find our project. And again, comes out this Monday, 9/27, 2021. And we really are appreciative for your support. You can also go to my website at davidbaron.co. I couldn't afford the M. So it's just davidbaron.co. And that has links to not only the Kickstarter project, but to my other projects as well. And eventually a store where you can find my Batman work and Justice League work and Superman work and all that other fun stuff, including my original covers.
Nice. Lisa, anything to add?
Yeah, I'm going to hit that point again. Monday, the 27th, Kickstarter, set your alarm. There's a lot of really fun tiers. I'm really looking forward to a lot of things that are coming, especially the bonuses if we can get above and beyond our initial funding. So just because the book will happen doesn't mean that people can't find even more cool stuff on the Kickstarter too.
Nice.
And so it really is, there's so much stuff that's just going to be so cool to get during the course of this Kickstarter that you can only get during the Kickstarter. People can find me online. I'm on Instagram at Elisa Wikey Draws Things. I'm on Twitter at Elisa Wikey. I'm the only Elisa Wikey I've ever seen in the world. Google me. I'm the only one that comes up. I'm very easy to find. So I look forward to interacting with people on the World Wide Web too.
Awesome. And you were able to get that M, so congrats.
And one of the cool things that we forgot to mention about this book is it's going to be digitally available in Spanish as well instantly.
Oh, that's
so
right.
That's the Kickstarter. You can actually get a Spanish version. And then in 2022, we actually have French and German editions coming out as well. And part of that is it's for people who are learning the languages. It's for people who already speak the languages and possibly learning English to go back and forth on. There's a lot of great opportunities for all reading levels and all age levels for this book. So please check it out.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I was thinking about learning Spanish this year, but I think I might just use Cobblestone instead.
There you go. And speaking to the library and teacher folk, that is a huge value add. So thank you for thinking to do something like that, because they're always scrambling to get things in other languages for the reasons that you mentioned. So thank you both for your time today. For everyone, also Creators Assemble will be sharing out about the Kickstarter. So check us out at creatorsassemble.org or on any of our socials, which are also all Creators Assemble, more or less. And thank you guys so much. You have a great vibe, and I'm really excited to see how this goes.
Thank you so much for taking the time. This was a delight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.